people don't remember you for exactly what you did, but how you made them feel. And I hope that I make people feel welcome and I make people feel like they had a good time. I think that's honestly all I could really ask for.
You're listening to HBCU and Entertainment, where diversity, equity, and inclusion refine the future of entertainment. I'm your co-host, Amira Johnson, alumni and campus relations coordinator at EICOP, and welcome back to another episode. In this episode, we're featuring one of our amazing alumni, Jalen Ellis, the EICOP Alumni Board co-vice president and executive assistant to the senior vice president at the Gersh Agency. I can't wait for you to hear more about his journey. With that being said, let's dive into today's conversation.
Good morning, Amira.
Good morning, Jalen. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm just happy that we got to chat again, even if it's kind of like under the whole production and interview setup. Any chance I get to talk to you is a fun one.
I feel the same. And I'm really excited just for this interview, for people to hear more about your journey, everything that you've accomplished. I feel like you have a lot of wisdom and gems that you're able to offer. So I'm really excited for people to get to hear more about everything that you're up to.
Absolutely. I hope I have those gems from too.
You got it. You got it.
Hmm.
So I'd love to kick us off. Just to start off, would you mind introducing yourself and maybe sharing a bit about your professional journey so far?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Jalen Ellis. I'm from Staten Island, New York, born and raised Shaolin. I've gone to Regis High School, then Morehouse College, where I majored in cinema, television, and emerging media studies. Linked up with HBCU in LA 2021 during the pandemic through 2023. I got internships all three times. I did A24 TV, CAA Global TV, and I got the Spike Lee Fellowship at the Gersh Agency. And I transitioned from that last role into being an assistant in the feature literary department at Gersh, where I assist the SVP of the department.
That's amazing. I mean, just hearing you speak about all the different areas and different companies, agencies that you've worked with already. I mean, you gotta give yourself a round of applause for that.
Mm,
Wow. A lot.
thanks, man.
So I know you just spoke about like A24, the Gersh Agency, Spike Lee's Fellowship. Would you mind just talking about what industry you're currently working in and what inspired you to pursue a career in that field?
So I am very much still in the film industry, but I'm on the entertainment side. I'm on the agency side. And I think the biggest thing that pushed me into entertainment overall was just like storytelling. Growing up on Staten Island, even though it's a part of New York City and you have access to the other four boroughs, I think Staten Island specifically, you feel kind of isolated because there's no train to go over to Manhattan. There's no bus that's immediately going to get you to Brooklyn or to Queens just via Brooklyn, Queens, yeah, via like one bridge. But there's always like a longer drive to get to those places. So I think you specifically have a feeling of being on an island, like legitimately. Especially the fact that I had to take a boat to get to high school every day contributed to that. So I really just fell in love with storytelling through all different forms of media, whether it was film, TV, video games, books, music, you name it. I have like six things that are my favorite and I can tell you exactly how they influenced me. I have a record collection. I make sure that I have a video game collection that stretches all the way back to like the PS1. Um, I have a DVD collection. And I think that through all of that, telling stories was kind of like opening me up to the world and really got me interested in seeing so many different people. Because even on Staten Island, it's like we have so many different facets of life back there that I truly loved and appreciated, but I just kind of got hungry for more. It's only so many times I could see like my best friends on at Pathmark on a given Tuesday. Um, so yeah, that's what really got me invested in storytelling. And then in my, like the first homecoming I had, at Morehouse College, they had like this entertainment, like is it like this HBO sponsored entertainment day? We had a bunch of Hollywood execs come through. I think the one that left the biggest impression on me at the time was Brendan Lawrence from CAA, and he is now, I think he's the first Black person to be on the board, and he's proud to be an ECOP partner and really just kind of be tied into this whole mission of getting not only Black people but also HBCU alum into Hollywood. So I met him there, which was kind of a funny story because I thought I knew everything, but clearly did not. And then I think the biggest thing that he imparted on me was just reading more about the industry and how it works representationally. So I did a lot of that, got enrolled in a decent EWAS class in my sophomore year, who was really cool with Mama Stacy. And he told me about this program that CA was doing because it was 2020, like October 2020, I think. So about this program CAA was doing. I took part in it for a weekend, but it was like 3 days of like 8-hour sessions back to back of just like meeting agents and talking about how agency works. And I think that you get a different view of how all of these things come together, the different roles and people needed to push a project to completion, from person to idea to meeting other people to finding the money to put it all together, then finding someone to put it all together, and then finally getting to set. So yeah, I think I learned the value of the boardroom and I learned the value of the suit, which is why I'm wearing this today. I literally have worked in like an hour.
Yes, you just so many things that you brought up. I feel like I relate to a little bit being from the East Coast, being from Jersey, going
Mhm.
up Staten Island. I realized like, wow, it is kind of separate from the other boroughs. There isn't like the PATH train, like, to easily go into Manhattan, and Staten Island is just like a bus, car, however you can get there. So that's
Mhm.
interesting. You said it felt like literally being on an island just because you're kind of in a different world in a way, in a
Yeah.
sense, but so interesting. And then I loved what you mentioned about having the different collections of media that inspired you, like the gaming collection, the DVDs. I like to game too. Like hearing you talk about the PS1, I'm like, whoa, wow. I have PlayStation 2. I never played the PS1, but I know
Mhm.
a lot of classics on there, but so good. Everything I think is all related to your journey. Just having like
Mhm.
little things that you don't even realize when when you have them, but when you all piece it together, you're like, okay, this shaped me this way. This shaped me that way. So really beautiful just hearing you talk about all the things that inspired you in your career and in your journey so far. So, along with those inspirations, sometimes there are like just little roadblocks or hurdles that come along the way throughout your journey. Did you face any challenges breaking into the industry? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Oh, for sure. I think that the biggest hurdle for me was because I have such a big like love for all of these different facets. It was really just a question of, okay, how do I like narrow my focus and how do I really choose what is best for me, whether it's like long term externally or internally. I think that has been the biggest hurdle for me. Just because, like I was saying, I love people. I love connecting with people. I think the weirdest thing is to trying to pick, is trying to decide the proper moment to pivot. Because I'm definitely good for a pivot. It's just a matter of when, where, how, and why, and figuring out those all those key points has always been a hard thing for me to do because it's hard to let go of people. Um, yeah, it's hard to let go of people, and it's just hard to strike a balance between, okay, how do I position myself in the greatest way in order to enact the change and follow my goals and do all the things, but also I love all of y'all and I don't want to lose you. It's just an interesting dichotomy, and I guess that's just a part of life and growing up. Like we see in all the stories, like you see in a Harry Potter, or you see in like even all the way down to like a SpongeBob or Peanuts. Like all the friends stay together no matter what big change happens in like at the end of season three. But I think sometimes in life you kind of have to step out into your own little spin-off show and then come back into the main plot later. Or maybe the spin-off show outdoes the original show. That was a lot of like very random allegories back to that. But yeah, if you couldn't tell by me literally thinking as we were talking, it's very much still an ongoing journey for me. I think it is for anybody.
Absolutely. And no, we love all the allegories here. I feel like that needs to be on a shirt or something like that. Like sometimes the spin-off show is better than the original show. I love that. So what keeps you or what has kept you motivated like during those moments that have just been a little bit challenging? What just keeps you going? Is there anything specific that keeps you in good spirits?
I think the main thing that keeps me in good spirits is just having different outlets and different groups of people to be around within the mix of that. I know that at the end of college, my at the end of my three-peat with HBCU in LA, those are like two really big moments of transition. I know that the big things that kind of kept me centered and feeling okay were literally like the cliche but very real answer of family and music. I consider Frank Ocean to be like part of my family at this point. I will definitely, I'll definitely put on Blonde on the plane on the way home in order to just exist in a different pocket of reality. But yeah, literally just recentering myself around different groups of people in order to really take a step back. Because in LA, I think it's so easy to get caught up in the mix of, oh, I gotta go here to meet this new person, and then I gotta go here after that, and then I gotta put together a shot list for something, or oh, I got a location scout for this, and oh wait, but I also have a coffee with this exec over here, and so on and so forth. I think it's really easy to get lost in the mix of I need to be here, and here. And I think that the main thing that should be done, once again speaking from my perspective of being out here for a little bit, has just been community and having different pockets of community to recharge different aspects of myself. But yeah.
I love that. Yeah, music is the best thing ever. Like, personally, can't go a day without listening to music, so, yeah, music also helps me just remain in good spirits, keeps me grounded, sane, everything, so shout out to Frank, shout out to Frank.
Right, man.
Yes. So, you just touched on community, and I'd love to just dive into ECOP a little bit because I feel like a lot of community comes from this organization and the program, just meeting different people. So I'd love to hear from you, what does ECOP mean to you and how has it shaped your career journey?
ECOP means the world, the universe, infinity, and beyond to me. No Buzz Lightyear. I I don't think there are enough words to describe how profoundly attached to this program and its people I am. Um, I think that it's a real force of change. I think that it's a real source of family and community. I often like sit down and think, I'm like, wow, a lot of what I understand about this city and who to go to if I ever have anything on my mind or something goes wrong, all directly came out of the entertainment industry college outreach program. Like I call Papa Ted like all the time. I speak to Stacy. I've gone over to their house. I play with the dog. It's just family. You know, I think that the realest word that I could use to capture all of the meandering I just did is love. And that's literally it. I just have so much love for the program, its people, what it does. I could go on for literally an hour if it wasn't going to make me late to work about how much I just love this program. That's why I dedicate a lot of time to it, because when Jared, a very, very, very close friend of mine, came to me and said that he was an alum of the program 2020 and 2021, I think. I think he did 2020, 2021. At least 2021, because we were both in Ray. And we had the idea of establishing an alumni board to kind of act as a liaison between the alumni and EICOP, the organization, while also keeping all the alumni together. Because it's hard to keep us all together when we're all over the place trying to run the streets, basically, and really just running the industry. I immediately said yes, and I spent so much time just on the phone with Jared, with the other members of the board, planning events, just existing, talking about plans for things like 2 years down the line. And I've never regretted like a second of it. We wake up like Saturday mornings to have like our board meetings, and they'll go on like, I know our first one was like 3 hours, I think, but it felt like it was like 30 minutes just because I was around a bunch of people that I loved, and I knew that we were really coming together to make a difference and make a change. But yeah, I went on a little bit longer than and expanded the scope of the question. But yeah, I just have a lot of love for this program and its people. Thank you, Ted and Stacy and Leonard and Miss Angela and Ariel.
No, that is fine. You're allowed to meander and go on tangents as you please. So this is a space to do that. But I love everything that you said. Yeah, I think the community aspect of it is something that you won't find with any other program, like the lasting impacts of the alums who just so willingly give their time back. Like you, the alumni board, everything that you're all doing is phenomenal. And I can't wait to see what else comes from the board and all the great stuff that I know is being planned at the moment. So I think it's just to see everybody trying to pour back into the program. But yeah, do you think you have a standout moment or lesson from ECOP that sort of stuck with you as you've been in your career?
That's such a good question because there's so many. Whether it was casual, like something on a panel. Um, it's so hard to pick one. That's my only thing. I guess the biggest thing I'll say was the concept of, I hate using this word, but networking. Instead of networking, I'll say connecting and building community across instead of focusing on up. I think that by working with the people that are pretty much your peers directly, once again, is kind of like the premier way to try and build community, make change, and really actively be a part of building towards something. It's almost like investing in yourself. or to quote Paperboy from Atlanta, reinvesting in your hood. It's like you're legitimately putting your time, effort, energy, all the things into the people that are right next to you, that are reading emails on behalf of other people, to the people that are making phone calls on behalf of other people. And you're connecting over shared experience. You're building memory. And in doing so, you're building our own mini culture for yourself. And in doing so and expanding that circle, or keeping that circle tight and just climbing together, that implicitly ends up making your own change, whether it is in a crazy way to Hollywood overall, and you end up, and all 4 or 5 of y'all end up running like the biggest studios, or representing the biggest people, or are the biggest like screenwriters, producers, whatever. You see it time and time again throughout history. I mean, you look at the Young Turks, you look at George Lucas, and kind of his cohort with Spielberg. You look at DreamWorks, FKG. It's just like this pattern is repeated time and time and time and time and time again, that I think it's pretty much the secret sauce to just how history is written at large, I'd say. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing to me. Just that and the art of the pivot. And that really came from professional development sessions that we had 2022 and 2023, courtesy of the one and only Halima Nash. Love her down. But yeah, that's it. Just working across with your peers and making pivots. But yeah.
I love that. You said the art of the pivot. I feel like that is key right there.
Mhm.
Would love to just quickly talk about Morehouse. I know that you are a graduate of Morehouse, and I'd love to just ask you, how did your education and going back to community, how did your community prepare you for the industry while at Morehouse?
Um, I'd say I'd say it's a twofold thing. I think that first and foremost, more else prepared you by introducing me to my brothers. A lot of us, I think, CTEM's 2023. I think pretty much all of us, save like a handful of people, have gone through HBCU in LA 1 year or another, and that almost all of us are currently working in the industry in LA via that experience. Um, so yeah, I think once again, just like the value of connection and brotherhood and what that really means. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I got from Morehouse. It was really that, and then also just the importance of, this is gonna be so silly, but it's gonna sound very silly, but it's not. The value of presentation and the suit and how you carry yourself, uh, how you make so many different, the value of the introduction that you get from that. I think I think people always build up kind of like their own inherent like character profile of who you are based on simply how you present yourself, the words you use, your cadence, your mannerisms. And yeah, I think we spent like the very beginning of freshman year really just like drilling that into people's like heads. Um and some people got it, some people didn't get it. But that's why. I hope I'm one of the people that's definitely got it since I'm talking about it now.
You got it. You got it.
But yeah.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. So we're going to head into our second to last question, but
Mhm.
I just want to ask, so far, when you think about your career, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? I know that's a big question,
I was
but
about to say,
it's
come
a big
on, man, you're
question.
setting me
Yeah.
up.
It's a big question, but as much as you want to share, go for it. I know it's a loaded question, but you got this.
I think when it comes to like a big question like that, I mean, I don't want to Mike Tyson you and be like, oh, it don't mean nothing, X, Y, and Z. But
Uh, that interview, yeah.
I think that when it comes to legacy, it's like you're really only remembered by how you made people feel. And this is going back to a whole other ECOP lesson, because this is me preaching the gospel of Ted Milner. Um, I feel like people don't remember you for exactly what you did, but how you made them feel. And I hope that I made people feel welcome and I made people feel like they had a good time. And I think that's honestly all I could really ask for, beyond kind of all of the, oh, beyond really representing different people and giving back to community and building that community and nurturing it and doing all the other things. I just want to make sure people can have fun doing this. I want to make them feel good. Mm, Yeah, it's a little bit of an elementary answer, but it came from the heart.
Well, I think that's a beautiful answer, and that should be everyone's answer. That's
Mhm.
inspiring. Yeah, I
All
think
right. I want everybody else that comes up here. If you don't have that answer, you're wrong.
interview
Incorrect.
over. Yes.
5 points from Gryffindor.
Literally. No, I couldn't agree more. I think impact is everything, and the way you make
Mm,
people feel, I agree, is beyond whatever else you do, your career, accolades, so beautiful answer, not elementary at all. So we're at our last question. It's been so fun,
mhm,
but since February is literally right around the corner, it's
mhm.
Black History Month is coming up. I just wanna ask you, what does Black history mean to you?
The future. If I had to put it like super bluntly, I think that as a people, this is me being again a product of all these different connections and people that I've met. I had a professor at Morehouse College, Dr. Monique Earl Lewis, and she taught me the importance of migrants and really figuring out who we are as people of the diaspora. And a big part of that is understanding our history so we can walk and move forward. I think that the biggest thing about Black History Month is literally just knowing who your people are, where you come from, in via the greatest amount of minutia possible. And it just informs so many different aspects of how you move and how you, once again, present, speak to people, connect, and also just how you view the world and time and all these other little things that you kind of take for granted via just existing. Um, but yeah, I'd say to me, Black history means the future, which is which is why whenever people say, "Oh yeah, it's Black History Month," I'm like, "It's Black Future Month, man. Gotta we gotta get in there." But yeah, Black history is the future to me.
Yeah, it's a great answer. I feel like that's the perfect way to end our interview. It's been so lovely talking to you, hearing more about your journey. I'm proud of you, like everything you've been accomplishing.
Mhm.
I think the future is just so big for you, and just congratulations on all your success. And, ECOP is always here to support you.
Thanks, man. And I'm gonna make sure that I'm on the other side for your episode. I will be interviewing you. I will be interviewing you, and then I will be interviewing Christina and everyone else that has been a part of this big legacy. I'm going back to Lisa. I'm getting Bree. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm here for that. Let me know. I'm here for that. That sounds
Mhm.
great. But yeah, I know you have to get to work soon, so I don't want to keep you too long. But thank you so much, Jalen. You were great. Thank you.
No, no, of course. Thank you all for having me.
I want to thank you for joining us today and tuning in to another episode of HBCU in Entertainment. If this episode resonated with you, please comment, rate, and review the podcast. Your feedback means the world. Until next time, we appreciate you for lending us your ears. Catch you in the next episode.